Hi, I'm Matt from HockeyReviews.ca, and this is the Warrior Covert QRE 10, not comparison video, not snapshot review because I can't shoot it, but a comparison video to more of the QREdge, but I figured I'd bring the QRL here just to have the whole family. But before that, if you do need to purchase any hockey equipment, please check out the link in the description to Pure Hockey. If you use that link or the links on my website, a percentage of the sale comes to me, so it helps fund my channel so I can keep doing this and getting more gear so I can keep doing reviews and making content. It would be greatly appreciated. So this is Warrior's new stick. It is now $350 Canadian. So it's up there with the Bauer now and CCM, which have raised their price. So I can't do a snapshot review of this stick because it's 100 flex. I can't find an 85 yet. And me shooting this thing feels like I'm shooting a piece of rebar. So it wouldn't be fair for me to do an actual stick, like the snapshot review on this, because I can't shoot with this. I want to point out though, in my experience with Warrior sticks, I have changed the basically flex a couple times. So my QRL had 100 flex. The reason being is when I shot at 85, it felt like a noodle. It wasn't just the shooting though, it was more the passing and stick handling. So I went with 100, and then, so I went down to an 85 because I found the CCM trigger sticks shot so much better than what the Warrior ones did. So I felt, at least my Warrior one did. So I wanted to jump down to make it the even flex rating to give it a real fair comparison for shooting. And I felt it was more consistent and it wasn't as whippy as the ones in the past. This 100, I wouldn't get 100. I would 100% go to an 85 because I can't shoot with it at all at 100. And so I do say that they now rate the same. I did I think I did an 85 in a QX, Alpha QX, and it was too whippy for what it was. I thought it was rated lower than what it was. Then I went to the DX and did 100 and it was too stiff. So then I tried an 85 DX, and I think the 85 DX would be what I would like correct against. In my opinion, Warrior's flex rating is pretty consistent with Bauer and CCM at the moment. First, let me say right off the bat, I don't know if someone on Warrior's team watches these and actually listens to these, but I think they do, because I said the Alpha QX gloves were terrible. They weren't padded enough, but everything else was really good. So they made the same glove, but with more padding in the DX, which is great. The QRL, I always said that I hated that it was black and it should have been exposed carbon fiber. They come out with the QREdge, which is exposed carbon fiber. And then my big complaint about the QREdge was they shaved off weight, but they removed it from the blade. So this stick was very, very blade light. So when you actually, it felt like there was no blade there basically. All the weight of it is in the shaft. So I said it was too, the blade was too floaty and you really had poor puck feel because of that. So the QRE 10 on my scale comes in at 404 grams. But this stick feels heavier in your hands than this QREdge does with tape on it. I mean, it's a bad tape job, but just ignore that. With tape on it and with a Tachymac on it. This QREdge stick weighs 436 grams. And when you hold it next to the QRE 10, it feels lighter than the QRE 10 does. When I'm holding it up like this with one hand, this is harder to do than the Edge one does. The reason behind that is the weight is now in the blade, which is not a bad thing. I'm actually really happy that they did this because I feel that when I'm stick handling this stick feels better than the QREdge does because you have that weighted feel on the blade and you can feel it. It feels really good. The other thing they changed is they added the texture on the blade. And that's something else I mentioned on the Phantom review, where I said it's disappointing that they don't have this texture, which Bauer, CCM, and everyone else does. And now the QRE 10 has the texture. So enough of me tooting my own horn of saying, hey, look, they're doing what I said they were. Like I said, I can't mention the shooting of it because I can't shoot this stick. It's not the right flex. So this thing at $349 is competing with the CCM JetSpeed FT3 Pro, which is 375 grams at the same length as this QRE 10, which is 404 grams. That's a decent difference for the same price stick. I haven't shot this, so I can't compare if this shoots better than that one does. So I have to wait until I get the actual right one there. But I just want to point that out. So every time Warrior comes out with a new stick, they basically come out with a new carbon layout. or at least a new carbon numbering layup. I don't know how much the differences really are. So Warrior on the QREdge was a 1200 carbon. We're now at the 1500 D carbon. So the D is for directional. So you can see the weave all throughout the QREdge. I think it looks really nice. The weave is gone in the Edge 10, or QRE10, which weird naming. So this stick will look more familiar as the Alpha DX did, because it also had the directional carbon fiber. So the way to see that is basically when you look under here, you can see kind of the fiber and the weave going through it. Similar to what my Hopa stick was. It also had this, so it didn't have a weave shaft. It had and actually didn't have a weave blade either. It has a directional carbon fiber in it, which is, I'm not going to get behind it because I don't have the technical details for it, and I will just be reading a marketing sheet, so I'm not going to get into that. But that is what it has. So the big difference on the QRE10 blade compared to the QREdge, and I believe all other Warrior sticks, I believe the Phantom had this one, I can't remember, is now that they're using their 24K Enigma carbon as the weave. So besides it being textured and the other ones weren't, you can see the bigger weave in the actual blade itself compared to the old one, which was the really tiny pieces. So you can see there. So STX has a very interesting stick. I think the STX RX series is a pretty interesting stick because it has a bigger weave on one side and a smaller weave on the other side. They said stiffer weave so you can feel it when the other one's not. And their idea was when you're shooting, you need it either like softer for feel, and then the back is stiffer so it doesn't, like, it acts as like a kind of a flex and then it stiffens up or something like that. I don't remember exactly which way it was, but that is what they told me. Interesting that Warrior's going away from their more, I can't remember what number this is, but the more weave itself to the actual bigger pieces of weave. Like I said, puck feel on this, or stick handle with this, felt really good. That also is with the balance where they added the weight back to the bottom of the stick. That helps too, but blade felt fine. It's their new Fuel Cord Plus blade, which I don't know what it's in it. I'm not going to read the marketing sheet without me going through it. Like, it's not going to, without me using it, I can't really talk about that, and I can't use this right now. So with the stick itself, I think looks fantastic. It continues the Warrior blue, like baby blue and like highlighter orange colorway all through it. I think it looks really, really good. I also love the exposed carbon, the non-weave through it. I think that looks good as well. You now have what I would consider the heritage of the Covert line, which is the orange at the bottom of the tapers. So before it was the dagger taper, and now we're on edge taper, and then it's labeled at the top now. But I really like that look, and it's a very distinctively Warrior Covert. Love this almost metallic blue look on it. It looks really unique, and it also really does a good job of showing off their multiple edges. So this has their edge taper, as you can see right there, which was introduced on the Covert QREdge, which we have here. So you can see how it isn't just a four-sided shape. And the other stick, Warrior had a unique design on the old stick, which you can see it like taper down here, but it was a more traditional four-sided shape. Warrior went away with that with the QREdge, and they released, as you can see, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I guess 6 sides now instead of the traditional 4. You can really see that on the new design. I guess they kind of did it with this little orange piece, but it wasn't kind of, in my opinion, the blue really works well there to kind of show that off. And the blue honestly looks awesome as well. There's no mistaking that this stick is a Warrior stick with the colorway, so I got to give them props for that. The one thing I do miss, I miss this like gradient. I thought that always looked good, but I mean, you got to change it every year to look something new. The rest of the stick is just, it has this kind of gray look to it, which is nice, but it's not like crazily out there. I think the other, in my opinion, the edge looked better up there, but again, this is just aesthetic, so it doesn't really matter. So the thing that makes me really happy about this stick is Warrior has continued to use tactile grip on the sticks. And what I mean with that, instead of just a normal grip, they now have like you can feel the texture throughout it. I really love that on sticks. It gives you a bit of a better idea when you're sliding your hands, how far your hand's actually sliding, and it just gives you a little bit more perception onto where your hand is on the actual stick itself. They did that before on the QRL, and it had it right on the corners right here. Bauer still does it on the Supreme sticks, but it's kind of going away. So I really liked it on the QRL. It was very noticeable. Warrior switched how they did their grips, and I think it was on the DX, but This one was not very noticeable. So it's still there, but you couldn't really tell because it wasn't textured enough, but it was still there. This could have been done better. Warrior did do it better, and this one is great. I hope this really comes off my camera because you can see all the texture all over it, and it's kind of in these like, it goes a crisscross pattern, so you can see like these almost triangles, and you can really notice it when you're sliding your hands on it, and I really like that. It does, like I said, it does give you that a little bit more tactile feel, and it feels, in my opinion, really good with that. All right, so that's kind of it. I can't really talk about this that much without just reading off a marketing sheet. Hopefully I get to use one of these soon, but stock is kind of hard with what's going on with the world. I'm pretty interested in trying out this stick, only because it seems like they listened in terms of balance, which is really good. But I also want to see how this thing shoots. I really think stick technology has come a long way in about a year and a half, with the Bauer Advance Supreme, which had the interesting like egg-looking taper on the shaft itself, to the Bauer Nexus Advanced stick, which had a hole in the blade, to CCM's FT3 Pro, which 375 grams at like not a special stick. Like it's not a super rare $400 stick. It's just their stick, and that's really, really impressive to me. And it shoots amazingly. So I'm really, really curious how well this does and how it compares to, but yeah, so that's about it for this video. Hopefully it was kind of cool. There's not a lot on this stick out right now. So hopefully this will kind of give you a look at it and will give you some details about it. I hope to do a more in-depth snapshot review in the future where I'll be able to shoot it and stuff like that. I can't get footage for that right now because I can't, like me shooting the stick isn't gonna do anything because it's too much like rebar. But yeah, thank you very much for watching this video. Remember to subscribe to me on YouTube, hit the like button on the video. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter where I'll have like pictures and comparisons and smaller content that doesn't quite fit here. And remember, if you are ever buying a piece of equipment because of one of my videos, please reach out to a manufacturer, let them know. And social media helps me get on the radar so I can gear like hopefully this to actually use on the ice and not just do snapshot reviews. If you are buying a piece of gear, please check out the link in the description. If you click that link and make a purchase, I'll get a kickback from it and it'll help fund this channel so I can continue doing videos like this. So thank you very much for watching and take it easy.
You're watching HockeyReviews.ca.